TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I take a deep dive into a particular subject or a creator or a company, and I go through a new product. And today we're going to be looking at Deuce Gala. Now, if you don't know what Deuce Gala is, it is a new production company, and that production company has been co-founded by my friend Michael O'Brien, who you might know from being on Penn and Teller Fool Us. You might know him from his YouTube channel. You might know him from the NETRIX. You might know him from a million other things that he's done over the years, including working very closely with Matthew Garrett on their Ninja Rings range. Now, the Deuce Gala production company is brand new. They've just had their launch range come out. And I did an interview with the guys from Deuce Gala just a week or so ago, and you can check that out on the Talk Magic playlist right here on Magic TV, and also on the podcast, on the Talk Magic podcast on Spotify or your favorite podcasting platform. And I did an interview all about the company and all about what makes them different and what makes them unique and what makes them stand out from all the other production companies in the Magic community. And they've got big goals. They've got very lofty goals. They've got things that they want to do very differently to other production companies. They want to really focus on the production quality of the props and the production quality of the tutorials. And they've got an amazing range of tricks coming out in the weeks and months and years to come. Now, their launch lineup, they've brought out like 6 or 7 routines, 6 or 7 projects. Some of them are physical items, some of them are downloads. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to look at 4 of those items. I'm going to look at 4 of the items today. Now, I probably will very, very shortly do another Deuce Gala review show special, because they've got a whole bunch of other stuff that they've brought out as well. It's just I don't want to make this particular episode too long. So I'm going to look at 4 items this week. And if you guys want to see another review show special on the other launch items that came out through Deuce Gala, then let me know in the comments down below and I can put that together. But this week we're going to be looking at 4 tricks. All of these tricks are by Michael O'Brien, who is obviously the co-founder of the company. And I'm going to go through these one at a time. So let's start off with progressive oil and water. So the first item I'm going to be looking at is by Michael O'Brien, obviously, and it's progressive oil and water. Now, this one is a download only, so you don't need any special props to do this. This is literally you buy it off Deuce Gala and there's a link and you download it and you watch it and you learn it. It's as simple as that. And it's an oil and water. Now, I've always loved oil and water plots. I've published several of them over the years. My current favourite is called Oil and Water Extreme, and you can learn it on the NETRIX. But I've been doing oil and water for a very long time. So whenever I see an oil and water trick come out, I'm always really interested, because it kind of always piques my interest. And I know the oil and water plot kind of divides the Magic community. Some people either love it, some people hate it. One of the reasons I like it is because oil and water, it's got a great hook, because oil and water, everybody understands that from school. They understand that oil and water don't mix. It allows you, from a presentational point of view, to bring a lot of comedy into the performance. It's also adaptable to other presentational ideas and concepts. For example, my friend Nemeth Phoenix does an oil and water where he talks about groups of people that don't mix well at parties. That's really fun. And there's a certain clarity when you see a good oil and water routine done. So I was very excited to see this oil and water. Now, I'm going to do a performance of this for you. So I'm going to do a full performance. And then after the performance, I'm going to talk about exactly what I think. Are you only good at science?
Yeah.
Were you good at science?
That's okay.
Okay, well, we're going to give you a scientific experiment using a pack of playing cards, okay? You ever heard of that experiment in science? You might not have done it yet. Oil and water?
Yeah.
Oh, you've done that. Okay, so the idea is that when you put oil and water in a container, they separate, right? Yeah, you know that. Okay, cool. The same happens with playing cards, which I'm going to prove to you. I want you to yeah, exactly. So before I start, do me a favour, just give one of those fancy shuffles that you do so well. That would be good. Thank you very much. So the point is, these cards are shuffled, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. Hands off mat. I'm going to try and do something. So I'm going to start off by taking... which card should I take? I'm going to start off by taking one black card and one red card from the deck that Ryland shuffled. Okay? Now, this is how this oil and water thing works with playing cards. You have a red card and a black card. You alternate them like this, so it's red and black. And when I snap my fingers, they separate.
Fairs.
Not impressed. The reason you're not impressed is because I'm only using 2 cards, right? If I used 4 cards, it would become infinitely more impressive. So I will do it exactly the same way again, but this time I'll use 4 cards. Now it becomes a little bit more impressive. So we have 2 red and we have 2 black. Ryan and Jack, make sure I don't cheat. The 2 black and the 2 red. Is that fair?
Yep.
I'm going to go in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go really slowly. Watch. I'm just going to do it like this, okay? And I'll change over the red cards and the black cards, so they alternate like that. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yep.
All I have to do is snap. I wait a second, and they separate black, black, red, red. So it becomes more impressive when there's 4 cards. I'll do that again. Now, the red cards and the black cards are clearly separated, right? That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this really, really slowly. Look, really slowly. I'm going to deal down a black card, and a red card, a black card, and a red card. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yep.
I literally just wait a second, and then hopefully with any luck, they separate.
What?
Now I'm going to make it even more impressive by taking out another 2 cards. This time we'll take out another red card, and we'll take out another black card from the deck that you shuffled. So now we have 3 red cards, we have 3 black cards. Black, 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 red, red, red. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yep.
Now, with 6 cards, it becomes a lot more impressive. Let me explain why. I'm going to go really slowly so you can see I'm not cheating. Look, I'm going to put the red cards down there. I'm going to put the black cards down there. Fair, right?
Yeah.
Watch. Take a black card, put it there.
Anyone?
Yeah, now take a red card and put it on top. Take a black card, put it on top. Take a red card, put it on top. Take a black card, put it on top. Take a red card, put it on top. Snap your fingers, wait a second, turn them over one at a time. Let's see if it's worked. Red, red, red.
What?
Black, black, black. I told you, that's crazy. It's crazy, right? I'm going to do it one last time. I'm going to take out another red card, and I'll take out another black card from the deck that you shuffled.
Yeah.
Another red, another black. Now you guys do it yourself. You take the black packet, you take the red packet. Turn them face down. Now, first of all, you deal a card. Jack, you deal a card on top. Deal a card, you deal a card on top. You deal a card on top. You deal a card, you deal a card on top. Is that fair? Square them up, I don't even want to touch them. Okay? Now, that's fair, right? We're even going to mix it up again. Let me give you another 4 cards. Another 4 cards. Do it again. So, put a black card, put one of your cards down, put one of your cards down, put one of your cards down, one of your cards, one of yours, one of yours, one of yours, one of yours. Square them up. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I'll even do it one last time, but this time, let me just put these 4 here, and I'll put these 4 here, because maybe you think there's some sort of order to it, so there's not. I'll let you guys choose between you. We're going to mix up one last time. Which packet would you like to start with? Ryland's or yours?
Start with Ryland's.
Okay, so we'll put one of Ryland's, one of yours. Now the next card, do you want to have it come from Ryland's again or from Jack's?
Jack.
Jack, okay, so Jack's and yours. What about the next one? Where do you want to deal from first?
One.
Yours? And the last one?
One again.
Yours again. Is that fair?
Can't see why it wouldn't be.
Ryland, square them up. Snap the fingers. Turn them over one at a time. That would be black. That would be black. That would be black. That would be black. Red, 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 red.
Oh my god.
What?
Isn't that weird, right? And here's the thing. I mean, this is basically just science. It's just an experiment. that you learn at school that we're basically just putting on with playing cards, which is crazy, right? And it's just the fact that when you leave the cards down on the table for a bit, the snapping does nothing. But when you put the cards down on the table for a bit, they're separating, just like oil and water. And it happens not just with these cards, but with every single card. Have you ever had a deck of cards where you've left it in a drawer for like a couple of months and you take the cards out and they're separated, reds and blacks? Yeah, well, that's because that's what happens. You leave the cards to settle and the cards will separate. So, for example, you shuffled these cards at the very beginning, didn't you? I didn't shuffle them, you shuffled them. And they've been over there the entire time. And they've been there for like about 5 minutes. So there's been plenty of time for those cards to separate.
No.
So realistically, this illustrates my point
What the...
perfectly.
What the hell?
And that is Michael O'Brien's Progressive Oil and Water. So that's the performance of Oil and Water. Now, I'm going to talk about the production quality first of all. So, and this, what I'm going to say here goes across all of the what I'm trying to say here. This goes across all of the 4 products that I'm actually looking at on this review show. So, there's points that I want to make. So first of all, there is always a studio performance. So the idea behind the tutorial is the same. First of all, you have a introduction by Michael O'Brien. Then you have a studio performance. Then you have a review where the guys talk about basically it's broken down in great detail, and we'll talk more about that in a second. And then on a lot of the projects, there's like a super practice session. If you remember the old Michael Amar Easy to Master series, Michael Amar always had that super practice session where there was a camera over his shoulder and classical music would play and he would go through the moves in slow motion. They have that at the end of each of these projects. So at the end of each project, there's kind of a super practice session where you just get to see the whole thing done slowly with the camera over the shoulder, which is a great way of doing it. I really love that concept because it allows you to kind of study the moves that you've just learnt in the tutorials. That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. Love that. I also love the actual tutorial. Unlike a lot of companies, they've put chapter breaks in there as well. So you can skip to a specific part if you want to, and obviously because of how it's set up, you can download it or you can stream it, which is an important consideration for a lot of people. So there's a lot to like about how they deliver the digital media. The one thing that I would have liked to have seen, and this is across all of the tricks that I'm about to review, is I would have liked to have seen live performances in the real world. We saw studio performances. And I believe, I don't know for sure, but looking at the studio performances, I believe the people who are performing for are magicians or maybe knew a little bit about magic, because there were times when they should have reacted and they didn't react. And I think that's because they're magicians. And I think that it's a shame that you had a studio performance which was done to fairly unresponsive spectators. I think that was a shame. Because the material that's been presented across all 4 of these tricks is, for the most part, phenomenal. And I know Michael is an incredible performer. One of the things that I love about Michael, and one of the things that I will always, one of the reasons I'll always buy a Michael O'Brien product immediately is because he is so good at performing. And I think that we're missing a beat here, just seeing a studio performance and no live performances. And it's kind of a bit odd because in the trailer you see snippets of live performances, but you don't see any of those live performances in the actual project. And I do a 5x5. Most weeks I'm putting out 3 or 4 videos of live performances, and I'm just going to gigs and giving somebody an iPhone and saying, hey, film this for me. It's an easy thing to get. It's an easy thing to get live performances. And I would have liked to have seen, and I would like to see in any future releases from Deuce Gala, live performances actually in a gigging situation, as opposed to a very stale surgical environment where you've just got Michael there with 2 people who obviously know the trick already and are just reacting like they think they should do, as opposed to having a real spectator. I think that's the important thing that they need to kind of fix moving forward, because the routines are so good and it's very easy to get live performance footage, and I think that would set them apart. Having said that, that's the only negative thing I can say about any of the production quality. They've brought a lot of stuff in. As I say, the super practice sessions are really good. The tutorials are very succinct. One thing that I like about Michael as a teacher is he's very succinct when it comes to actually teaching the routine and explaining how the routine's done. He teaches the moves for sure, but he doesn't dwell on them. He gives you all the information that you need and doesn't like over-explain something for like 15 minutes when it doesn't need to be. So with that all, and that runs across all of the projects. So with that in mind, let's specifically focus on the progressive all in water. This routine is phenomenal. It's a regular deck of cards. It's a regular deck of cards. You literally can do this at any point that you want to in any one of your gigs. And one thing that I quite like about this, and I've never seen this before, and I'm sure it's been done before, but I've never seen it, is the progressive nature of the oil and water. So he starts off by taking 2 cards, the 2 cards mix, which is just stupid because it's just 2 cards. Then he's got this lovely sequence with 4 cards, which he does face down and then does face up. He then has this incredible sequence with 3 cards where the spectators mix the cards, he doesn't touch anything, and they separate. And then he's got my favourite sequence, which is with 4 cards. And this is genuinely my favourite sequence. You've got 4 cards and they're doing all of the mixing. You don't do anything. And the cards separate and they're making various decisions throughout the mixing process. And it's completely self-working. It's amazing. One of my problems with oil and water is there's no ending. It's like, okay, a series of cards separate and then they separate and they separate and they separate again. And then that's it, end of the trick. What we have here is we have something that builds, each phase builds. By adding extra cards, you're increasing the impossibility of what they're seeing. But then you've got this final moment where the entire deck separates, which is really nice, totally unexpected, brings the thing full circle. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, really love it. There's no moves thrown in for move's sake. Each individual moment has been completely well thought out and structured, and it's just a really good oil and water. If you've held off from learning oil and water because you think it's not for you, I really advise you to get this download. It's not expensive. You don't need to fork out on props. You just need a deck of cards and you're good to go. And I think you're going to love it. I think you're really, really going to love this routine. It's very good, very easy to do. Nothing difficult in there, and because there's multiple phases, if there's a phase you don't like, you can take it out and you can replace it with a phase that you might like, or you can just do 3 phases or 2 phases or 1 phase or just 1 phase in the kicker phase. There's a lot of options here to make it your own. So first routine from Deuce Gala from their launch lineup is the progressive oil and water. I absolutely love it. I'm going to give this 95%. The 4 card the 8 card 4 and 4 sequence is one of the best. No, it isn't. It's the best oil and water sequence I have ever seen published anywhere. I love that, but the whole thing flows. It's really good. 95%. It's highly recommended. It's great. Okay, so the next routine we're going to be looking at is PokeMonte by Michael O'Brien. And Michael O'Brien is known for being a Pokemon lover, a lover of Pokemon. And I'll be honest with you, right? I'm a massive geek. I'm the biggest geek on the planet. There's nothing I would like more than sitting down, watching some Star Trek, watching some Star Wars, watching some Doctor Who. I've played Magic the Gathering for years, right? So I'm no stranger to collectible card games, 100%. However, I've never got into or understood the popularity of Pokemon. I've been a Nintendo fanboy for years. Zelda is my favourite game of all time. Never bought a Pokemon game. Never bought a Pokemon card. Have no idea what it's about. Never watched a cartoon. It's kind of about little monsters that you breed and look after, and they become bigger monsters and then they fight each other. Even when the Pokemon Go craze came out a few years ago on iPhone, and smartphones, I just wasn't into that either. I never kind of got into that. The whole Pokemon thing just baffles me, and it just baffles me, right? So I don't understand Pokemon. However, I do know that a lot of people do love Pokemon. For me, Pokemon is a little bit like a Rubik's Cube. When I pull a Rubik's Cube out as a gig, most of the adults will reminisce to their childhood in the 80s when they had one as a kid and they couldn't solve it. But because it's got a resurgence now and there's such a strong speed cubing community, most of the kids will go, oh yeah, I've got a Rubik's Cube, or they've got friends that have got a Rubik's Cube. It's a little bit like that with Pokemon. Pokemon, the adults really get into it because they know what it is from their youth, but the kids are into it as well. I just have no interest in it whatsoever. But I can understand that it's a really powerful hook for the majority of people, right? Now, what PokeMonte is basically is it's ColorMonte. So if you remember the old ColorMonte, it's ColorMonte, but the handling is very different. And there's a kicker ending that people don't see coming because they are actually seeing 3 cards. It's very interesting. If you know ColorMonte, you've got the 2 diamonds and you've got the $14 card, right? With this, they're seeing 3 different cards because there's 3 different, apparently there's like water and fire and earth. So you're seeing 3 different cards the entire time, but you're using ColorMonte displays to in a very intelligent way, and then there's a kicker ending that they don't see coming either. So a lot of the time when I review tricks and it's a ColorMonte variation, they've literally just taken ColorMonte and they've just kept the moves exactly the same and just changed what's on the cards. But what Michael's done is he's changed the handling. He's used the concept of ColorMonte, but he's expanded upon it and added the Pokemon theme as well. I'm going to do a performance of it. I did a performance to Matt. As I say in this performance, I know nothing about Pokemon. I'm blagging this in performance the entire way through, and I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. I kind of got away with it because Matt hasn't got a clue about Pokemon either. It's very much a case of the blind leading the blind. But I kind of researched a little bit, listened to Michael's presentation, and I blagged my way through it. But let's have a look at that performance now, just so you can see how the routine looks. Now, Matt, you're like a heavy metal type of guy. You've been in rock bands your whole life.
Yeah.
You're really into that metal. You're a biker. You hand out with bikers. And you go in biker bars and do whatever bikers do in biker bars. I don't know what they do, but I'm sure they do something.
Talk about motorbikes mainly.
Talk about motorbikes.
Yeah.
So you're kind of a hardcore guy. I'm willing to bet that when you were at school, you spent all of your time thinking about Pokemon. I'm right, aren't I?
I spent very little time thinking about Pokemon.
The most important part of a young boy's life is figuring out what his first starting Pokemon's going to be.
One of my guitarists nearly killed himself playing the one on your phone once.
Really?
I had to. He was looking, the one that comes up on your phone.
Yeah,
and he walked out into traffic, and I had to drag him away. That's about as close as I've ever got to playing Pokemon.
Well, I'm going to educate you about Pokemon and tell you about the time at school because I'm also a kind of a hardcore metal type of rock guy. I'm really cool. People look at me and they just think, oh, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
So I know it's hard to believe that I was into Pokemon. Difficult to believe, but it's true I was. I've got 3 Pokemon cards.
Okay.
And the reason is, when you play Pokemon, there's 3 different... you have to have a starter Pokemon. Do you even know what Pokemon are?
No.
Okay, let's go basics here. The little monster creature things that you collect and then you fight with. And there's 3 different types. So this one here is Baltazar, and this is the green or the grass. Of course, they've all got different they've all got different things that they're part of. So Baltazar is part of the like land, nature, stuff like that. This one here, this little guy is this one here is Charmander. And he's all about the fire, as you can see. His tail is on fire, and they get bigger.
He looks happy about it.
Well, yeah, but that's because he's a fire monster. He's happy about it. He, when he gets a bit older, he's gonna shoot fireballs out of his butt to try and kill people and stuff.
Wow. Okay.
And Squirtle is shut up. Squirtle's cool. He's the water guy. He's very happy as well. You can see how happy Squirtle is. Squirtle. There's him. Look, it's Squirtle. Look, Squirtle. Yeah. His special thing is Rain Splash.
Of course it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you heard of any Pokemon before?
This is for kids.
Have you heard of any Pokemon before?
What's the yellow one?
Pikachu.
That one.
Oh,
Afraid of that one.
yeah, Pikachu. Yeah, you know what? Never go in the shower with him nearby. You know why?
Because he'll Pikachu.
He'll Pikachu. But do you know how you get him on a bus?
No.
Your Pokemon. Anyway, let's do the trick.
If only they'd spent longer figuring out the jokes.
Anyway, so when I was a kid and I was getting my first Pokemon, I really, really, really wanted Charmander. I really wanted Charmander.
Okay.
And the guy that was teaching me all about Pokemon said, no, you're better with Bulbasaur. And I was like, no, I don't want Bulbasaur, I want Charmander. And he said, no, you should get Bulbasaur because Bulbasaur's on the bottom. I'm like, yeah, I can see he's on the bottom. But you see, the thing about Bulbasaur, not only was he on the bottom, he was also on the top. Bulbasaur was on top as well. Not only was he on the top and the bottom, but you're not going to believe this, check this out, that Bulbasaur was also in the middle. I'm like, well, dude, I've got no choice but to have Bulbasaur. There's no option there. You've just got 3 Bulbasaurs. And he said, no, you're forgetting about Squirtle. Everyone forgets about Squirtle. He's like, Squirtle's on the bottom. I'm like, well, if Squirtle's on the bottom, there's no way Squirtle can be on the top. That'd be impossible. He went, no, Squirtle's on the top as well. There he is, that's Squirtle. I'm like, well, if Squirtle's on the top and the bottom, you can't have Squirtle in the middle as well. He went, no, there's Squirtle as well. It's in the middle. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This is kind of really weird. I'm like, well, okay, so you got Squirtle, you got Bulbasaur. Really, then I'm going to go with Charmander. I want Charmander. Charmander's the go. I like the idea of shooting fire out of his butt. And he went, well, there is a Charmander on the bottom. I was like, cool, there's a Charmander on the bottom, that's amazing. He said, but also, you're not going to believe this, but there's actually also a Charmander on the top. I'm like, what? And he said, not only that, you're not going to believe this, but there's actually a Charmander in the middle as well. I'm like, dude, you must have more than 3 cards here. I've seen like hundreds of them. And he went, no, 1, 2, 3. You've just got 3 cards here. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So it came time for me to pick my character, and I was there with a couple of other people. And the red trainer, before I could say anything, he took Charmander. Charmander was off the table. I was gutted. Because nobody picks Bulbasaur. Nobody picks Bulbasaur. And I was worried because there was a blue trainer there. And before I could say anything, do you know what the blue trainer said? I'll have Squirtle. You wanted Squirtle. Makes sense because blue. It kind of makes sense. He had Squirtle. I was stuck with Bulbasaur. Nobody has Bulbasaur. Who do you think I ended up with?
Bulbasaur.
No, it's like you said earlier on. You always want to end up with Pikachu. He's the famous one. He's the one that everyone knows, right?
Where did Pikachu come from?
He was hiding and then just saw you and peeked at you. And that's the story of how I got into Pokemon. So that's PokeMonte. Now there is an optional second phase as well, which I didn't include in that performance. The optional second phase is at the beginning of the routine. You have them think of one of the creatures or one of the things, either fire, earth, or water, and at the end you show that you knew ahead of time which element that they were going to pick. And that's a really nice second phase that kind of brings everything full circle, and you get the extra cards that you need to be able to do that as well. And again, that's another example of how Michael's gone beyond the PokeMonte to really kind of put something original here. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to do this because I believe that when you do a trick, you have to be invested in the trick. Like, if I'm into something or I enjoy, like I've created lots of tricks about Doctor Who because I'm obsessed with Doctor Who. So, and that passion shines through even if the people I'm performing it for don't know anything about Doctor Who. I'm passionate enough to be able to kind of fill them in on that, right? I wouldn't be able to do that with Pokemon, so I'm not going to do it. However, I do believe that this is a really nice product. And there are sequences in here that I'm going to take and I'm going to try and adapt to something else because I do think it's a really nice product. It's one negative. It's not really a negative, but it's something worth noting. If you do get PokeMonte, something worth noting. They come in a really nice, you know, like when you get booster packs for Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or whatever, and it comes in like the booster packs come in like a kind of packaging that you rip open and then you look at your cards, right? Well, that's how the trick comes packaged. and I ripped it open like I do whenever I get any packages. Like I ripped it open so I could get the card inside, so I could start learning the tutorial and everything and looking at the cards. And then the first thing they say on the tutorial is Michael goes, okay, so this packaging that the trick came in, you can use this for the trick. You can put the cards in there and carry them around in there. And I'm like, damn it, I ripped this thing to pieces. It would have been nice if there was some sort of warning or something that, like, you know, when you buy it, be careful, do not rip open the packaging. But then he continues to explain that you can actually go and buy a Pokemon booster set and you can just carefully open it up and put the cards in there, so it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, I'm going to give it this 79%. Reason why I'm not going to do it on Magic TV, if it gets 80% or over, I plan on doing it in my act. I don't plan on doing this, but I do think it's very clever. I do think that the right person would absolutely kill with this. I think that if you're into Pokemon, this is something that would really work well for you. And Michael makes a very good point, which is true, which is with the original PokeMonte, you know, it's just this generic presentation that everybody uses, but if you use Pokemon cards immediately, it kind of builds a relationship up between you and the audience, and I totally get where he's coming from. So yeah, it's a really good trick. I highly recommend it. It's just I'm not going to do it, so it gets 79%. Yeah, there you go. That's PokeMonte. So the next routine we're going to be looking at is the stand-up wildcard. Now, I'm not going to say anything else about the stand-up wildcard. I'm just going to do a performance of it. So here we go. This is stand-up wildcard.
Well, have you ever heard of the expression, he's not playing with a full deck?
Oh, yeah.
They say that about me.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, because I don't play with a full deck. Look, there's not even close to a full deck here.
I mean, yeah, there's various different meanings for that phrase.
Yes, there is. And all of these cards are the same. They're all the 10 of spades.
Okay.
Except for one card. And there's one card that's different, which is this one right here, which is the Jack of Hearts. The Jack of Hearts is the most magical card in the pack. Have a look. Because it's a magical wild card.
Okay.
A wild card, when you're playing cards, a wild card will stand for any card in the deck.
Yeah.
So a magical wild card can make any card in the deck look like that Jack of Hearts. So if I took one of the 10s, for example, and just rubbed it on top of the Jack, waited a second, when I do, it turns into a Jack. Maybe you missed it. I'll do it again. Look, I'll take another 10. I'll take this one right here. This time you know what's going to happen, but sometimes when I do this, people say Craig, because that's my name, Craig. They say, Craig, I know what's happening. There's special ink on the face of the card. There's no special ink there. It feels just like a normal card, right?
Yeah.
And the same on the other side. The back feels just like a normal card, right?
Yeah.
So if I take this and put it in between the other two Jacks, and I just pull it through like that, that's all I have to do. It's done. That's 3. Hold your hand out for me. Hold your hand out. There we go. So we've done 3. Yeah? We'll do it again. We're going to do it again. But I'll need to take one of these Jacks. And what I'll do is we'll do 2 at the same time, just in a blatant effort to try and speed things up a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll put the Jack in between the 2 10s. Yeah?
Okay.
Now watch. If I just do this, you have to wait a second, and then hopefully...
No way.
Yes way. So, would you like to see the last?
That's nuts, isn't it?
Would you like to see the last 3 at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do the last 3 at the same time then. Watch. I'm going to put it right there. So watch the 10, right? It takes a second. Do me a favour, take that hand and wave it over and make the most magical noise you know. And that's so magical. I don't know, turn it over and have a look.
What?
Yeah, turn it over, have a look. Did you manage it? Did you make it? You're doing great. Let's do the last ones.
Oh my god.
Let's do the last ones at the same time, right? Watch. If I do this, they're kind of alternating in between them, yeah?
Yeah.
All I have to do is this. That's all I have to do. Don't worry about these. Watch these. 1, 2, 3. And now, every single one of these cards, all the way through, has turned into
No
a
way.
Jack of hearts.
So there you go, that's stand-up wildcard. Now, what is it? Well, basically, as you saw in the performance, it's a way of doing wildcard, but standing up. So, I mean, obviously I was sitting down in that performance, but you probably noticed I didn't use the table at any point. The spectator was holding their hand out. It's designed for walk-around settings. Now, Michael's not the first person to do a stand-up walk-around wildcard. There's a few different people that have done a walk-around wildcard before. There's a couple of different ones, to be honest. I've not really studied a stand-up wildcard in the past, but I know that there's quite a few out there, and I've seen them being performed. It's a really great routine. I mean, as you would expect from Michael O'Brien, the structure of the routine is really strong. So the structure is really strong, and he's right. I mean, there's no table required, which I think is an important creative leap forward. And I know it's been done before. I haven't seen or studied any other stand-up wildcard. So I know somebody's going to say in the comments, oh, there's this one and there's this one, there's this one. I know there's others before, but that doesn't mean you can't have other people approach the same plot. You know, I think that it's a plot that a lot of people could approach, right? And for me, having the ability to be able to do wildcard stand-up is a little bit like what Garrett Thomas did with 3-Card Monte. So 3-Card Monte, the more classic 3-Card Monte, not Colour Monte, but the classic 3-Card Monte, was always done on a table, right? And what Garrett did is he took the classic 3-Card Monte and he made it stand up by completely and so many people do stand-up Monte by Garrett Thomas, because it allows you now to do this Monte-style routine with lots of switches and everything in the hands of the spectator, and in your hands without requiring a table. And that's what this is. That's what this stand-up wildcard does. It allows you to take a routine that traditionally was done on the table, and it brings it up so that no table is required. So if you're a walk-around performer, if you work in cocktail situations, if you work in banqueting situations and places like that, this allows you to perform a routine that traditionally could only really be done sat down. The handling is not difficult at all. It's actually really easy. I spent like about half an hour, I opened it up half an hour ago and I can do it already. That's how easy it was. And it's a fun routine to perform. I do like the whole premise. I would have liked to have seen a cleaner display at the beginning. So, and I think that's just me. I've not tried this in the real world yet, and I know Mike will have performed this for millions of times in the real world, and I know there won't be an issue there, but I would have liked to have like a Hammond count or something at the beginning so that I can show all 10s before I go into the sequence, as opposed to doing it the way that you saw it in the performance there. But you could easily throw a Hammond count in. I also think that wildcard is better when you bring a packet of cards out and you have a card selected from the deck. So it's a case of, right, okay, pick a card. Okay, we can use that one. I've got this packet of cards here. We're going to do something with your card and with these cards. Now, you could do that with, Michael doesn't talk about how to do it, but you could do that with Michael's routine. Not a problem at all. That would be something that you could do very, very easily. But this is an example of why we need live performances in the real world, because I'm saying, well, it would have been nice to have a cleaner display at the beginning, and you could easily throw a Hammond count in to achieve that. If I saw a live performance of people seeing it in a real world live environment, then I think it would have, I wouldn't be making that point, because I'd be like, oh, wow, look at their reaction. They're not thinking that at all. But all I'm seeing is I'm seeing the same two people watching this trick, and all 4 routines, it's the same 2 people dressed in the same clothes watching the same trick. I think that probably what happened is they had a filming day for performances, and they had these 2 people come in and just see a whole bunch of tricks. And as I say, I think the magicians, and again, without labouring the point, that's the biggest disappointment that I have with the whole launch lineup, because I really wanted to see live performances, and I know that Deuce Gala are trying to go above and beyond, and they're trying to do stuff that other production companies aren't doing, and in many ways, in many different parts of their product, and in many different ways of all their releases, they're managing to achieve that. And I really want to see live performances in the real world, especially when you've got somebody like Michael O'Brien that's part of the team. By the by, we haven't got that, so whatever. the studio performance allows you to see exactly what the trick's meant to look like, right? And it's a great trick. It's a really good trick. Wildcard is a classic for a reason. It's a classic because it always gets a great reaction, and being able to perform it in the hands is awesome. I don't know what any other versions are like, but I'm going to start doing this. For me, this was my favourite routine on the whole. Out of everything I looked at, this was my favourite routine. I'm going to give it 100% because I'm definitely going to do this. I'm 100% going to do it. I'm not going to use the cards that you get with the set. You get all the cards necessary to do the trick. I've got other cards that I'm going to use it with. I've got my own personal way of doing it. But the handling, the actual handling, I'm going to be using the handling because every time I've done wildcard, I've done it on the table. And having the ability to do it in the hands, I think it becomes a game changer. It's a really good idea. So yeah, love it. Absolutely think it's amazing. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. 100%. Highly recommended. It's walk around wildcard. Now, let's look at the final routine. Okay, so the final routine is a project all about the purse frame and a sponge ball routine that Michael O'Brien has put together with the purse frame and some sponge balls. Now, with this product, you get the purse frame, you get the sponge balls. I am not going to perform this. I'll probably do it at some point on a Magic Live, but I'm not going to perform it. And the reason is, I think that if I performed it, anybody who knows sponge balls would be able to see how things are working and therefore would be able to just go and do it themselves without buying the trick. And I don't want that. So I'm not going to perform it. I might do it down the line. I might do it down the line on a Magic Live or something. But I'm not going to perform it. So there's no performance of this trick. I want to protect the kind of Deuce Gala boys. But I will tell you that I know Michael O'Brien over the years has put a lot of work into the purse frame, and he's just scratching the surface with this particular routine. And I expect from Deuce Gala we're going to be seeing a lot more stuff on purse frame style magic in the coming weeks and months. Now, what we have here is we have a really strong sponge ball style routine. Now, most people that do sponge balls, they do exactly the same routine. And that's because it works, right? Well, this is a completely different routine from a method point of view and a presentational point of view. The purse frame that you get with this is really great. Most people, when they get a purse frame, they get one of those naff little Goshman purse frames, which are okay, but they're not that great. With this, you get a nice big chunky purse frame that opens beautifully, closes beautifully. It allows you to do moves like that very, very easily because it allows you to put your whole hand in. And it's just a beautiful purse frame. It's a beautiful, beautiful purse frame. The balls that come with it are really good as well. You get 3 balls, which is what you need for the routine. The sequence is in there, like there's this thing where he keeps taking balls out of a purse frame that's on the spectator's hand. He just keeps taking them out and they just keep coming out of nowhere. And it looks so good. There's so many visuals in this routine that are so striking. There's so many moments, and the final sequence is beautiful because in the final sequence he's making all of these balls that have appeared vanish, and they keep appearing back again, and they keep appearing back, and he ends up with one ball, and he puts the ball into the purse frame, closes the purse frame, puts the purse frame away, and everybody knows the ball's still there, and then he opens up his hands and it's gone. And that kind of fooled me, that did. When I first saw that, I was like, what? Huh? It just completely caught me off guard. The whole thing has been so well constructed. I can tell that this is a routine that Michael has performed for so many years, which is why I wanted a live performance. There's live performance clips on the tutorial. Why is there no live performance? I really wanted to see a live performance, but we got the studio performance, which is fine. Just from the studio performance, I can tell that this is an absolute workhorse. I am going to do this. I am absolutely 100% going to do this. I'm not going to do the whole routine as Michael does it, but the sequences in here that I'm going to take and adapt for my own work. And I haven't really studied much of what Michael does with a purse frame, but if this is any clear indication of what he's capable of, I cannot wait to see what else he comes out with in the years and months to come. This routine is solid gold. If you are a commercial worker and you are doing a sponge ball routine at the moment and you want to breathe new life into that sponge ball routine, you have to get this. This is perfect for walk around. This is perfect. Oh, that's the thing. It is perfect for walk around. You don't need a table. It's perfect for walk around. It's perfect for big tables and banquets. It's perfect for a parlor show. It's incredible for a kid show. Kid shows, this will kill. This will absolutely kill stone cold dead. This is just good on so many levels. There's no negative to this at all. And what's nice is there's so many moments of magic. In like a 3 or 4 minute routine, there's like about 75,000 moments of magic. I might be slightly over exaggerating, but there's a ton of magic. And it just makes you go, wow, this is just so good. So yeah, it's highly recommended. And you can get it, you know, from Deuce Gala. I'm going to give it 100%. This is another 100% product. I'm going to be taking elements out of this. And like I say, that's the beautiful thing. You can do the whole routine for sure, or you can take elements out of it and add it to your own sponge ball routine so you don't have to do the whole thing. And there are moments in here that you're just going to watch and you're just going to go, damn, I want to do that in my act and I want to do it now. Oh, it's so good. This is why I love Michael O'Brien so much. He's such an incredible sleight of hand artist. He's so engaging, he's so funny, and his moves are so crisp. 100% really good. So there we go. An incredible strong lineup of routines from Deuce Gala. And I cannot wait to see what else is coming out from them in the weeks and months to come. Now, I have other Deuce Gala products that I can review. So if you would like to see a second review show, please let me know and I can review more Deuce Gala products. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. If you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with a whole bunch more videos. And don't forget, if you want to support the channel, go to www.thenetrix.com and, you know, try it out for a month, see what you think. Michael O'Brien's on there. He's got a whole bunch of stuff on there as well, including an incredible impromptu book test, amongst other things. But regardless, this is great. Absolutely love it. There's some really good material on here. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll be back again soon. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.